I've slightly forgotten how to do this. It's been 8 months or something since my last video. But one of the reasons why this channel works when it does work is that Michaela and I inspire each other to do videos. So, you know, she does a video and I'm like, oh, well, I should do one, especially because I don't have a lot of other things to do right now. Now, this is not to say that I'm going to be making videos more consistently now. I do have about a month left to my degree program, as long as we all survive this weird time. I will be graduating in May, but like many other people across the country and around the world, I will not be having a graduation ceremony, which is kind of annoying because it was one of the few things that I wanted after this really long degree program. But maybe what I'll settle for instead is reminding myself how to make videos so that I'm ready to go in May. I would like to say that my life has been very exciting in the last over half a year, and that's why I haven't really been making a lot of videos. It hasn't. It's mostly been stressful. I chose a particularly hard track for my last year of grad school. I didn't have to make it this hard on myself, but I did, because it's either go hard or go home, man. I don't know how to go home. It's always go hard. It's not a good personality trait. But all things going well, I will have 2 master's degrees at the end of May, and I have no foreseeable plans to go back to school anytime soon, so hopefully I'll be able to make more videos. One of the really interesting things about my reading, which I have been doing for class and for pleasure a little bit in this last time that I haven't been around, I kind of talked about if you reach really far back in your memory, or just, you know, a couple of clicks down the recent uploads, because there's nothing in between this and that basically. I was listening to a lot of audiobook nonfiction, and one of my major goals is to kind of catch you guys up on the nonfiction that I've been reading, because I have just gotten so into this presidential challenge, which has kind of spiraled out into, you know, starting with a biography on every single United States president, and it has just spiraled into this really fascinating obsession with US history, both political and military, which is something that I never thought would happen. It's my brother, I have a brother who's really big into military history, and that's actually what he's studying in college. And I kind of always saw that as his wheelhouse and something that I wasn't interested in. I was much more interested in world history and different cultures. It's been a renaissance for me of learning about this country's history and its political history, and it's just been really interesting, and I would love to do some videos on that for you guys, even though that's so far off base from my regular content. I was really interested that it was happening, I think, in opposition. That's what I've been doing, a lot of reading in opposition to my homework. So, you know, I started this nonfiction challenge when I was reading a lot of children's fiction for classes. I had one class where I literally had to read 300 picture books or some astronomical number, and I was looking for pleasure reading that was outside of that. And because I was being told to read what I would normally read for pleasure reading, picture books, middle grade YA, I wanted something completely to the other opposite side, and I ended up reading all this history nonfiction. That hasn't gone away. I've been still obsessed with it, still reading it. If you're following my Goodreads, you must be so confused. I am too. It's fine. But what got me thinking about this a lot recently is that ever since I have been in quarantine, or self-isolating, what is it? I don't know. I should add that unlike many other people in the country currently, I do have a job. I'm working from home as a librarian, trying to put together stuff for the library's page. It's a really big experiment right now, trying to figure out, you know, with your particular community that you serve, how do you best serve them in an online format. And I actually got my camera back out because I was making some writing videos that I might post on the channel just to get them some more cross-population and have them have a landing place, and maybe they'd be of interest to you too. So I still have a job, but I'm not going to that job. I no longer go to classes. All of my classes obviously have been moved online. So I have time, and I've really been bit by that bug, which is like, well, you're home all the time, and so you should have time for the things that you previously told yourself you didn't have time for, like making videos, reading, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know who needs to hear this today, but this is not a vacation. The world is not in some pleasant, wonderful place where you can very easily sit back and relax and enjoy leisure. Like, that's not what's happening. There's a pandemic going around, and it's terrifying. And just going to the grocery store, like, my boyfriend and I used to go to the grocery store together, and it was once a week, and it was like our date every week. You know, we go and we get breakfast, and we do our laundry, and we would do our grocery shopping. And it was like that day where, after a really crazy week of both of us going to graduate classes and that kind of thing and work, that we would come together. And now going to the grocery store is incredibly stressful. You can't get breakfast, and you're just kind of hoping that they have the things that you need, because I can't stockpile food. I can't afford to do that. So, like, just these basic things that you may have taken for granted, or, you know, I took for granted as part of my weekly routine, are just stressful now. Not only that, but, you know, any family that you have, and hoping that they don't get it, and it's a lot of stuff, guys. So if you need to hear it, and I certainly need to tell myself this more often, this is not a time where you have to be hitting yourself over the head because you haven't done the stuff that you always said that you would do if you didn't have to go somewhere, or if you could be home longer. It's not the time. It's not. It's just stressful. That being said, I still have been doing some fun reading in and out of my schoolwork and my work from home, mostly because, like many others during this time, I can't sleep very well because the anxiety is real. And so I've been trying to read a lot in bed till I pass out. That is not what nonfiction is good for. I found that I really do prefer my nonfiction on audio. And so all of a sudden, I have started to read Regency romance novels. This is something that in my entire life I have never done before. I have never had an interest in doing it. But I have been just chomping through romance novels from my library's online catalog like a crazy person, because they're the perfect popcorn bubble, happy-go-lucky thing to read myself into exhaustion when I can't sleep because of anxiety. And so it's just been really interesting to me lately, this reading in opposition. I started reading nonfiction because I was reading a lot of children's books. You know, the world got really stressful, so I started reading romance novels. And it's just been really funny to watch that evolve in two different genres that I've never had any interest in my entire life. I've discovered some authors that I really, really like, and I have got holds on every book they've ever written, and it's great, and it makes me happy, which is the only thing that matters, really. So, I don't know, man. Please let me know down in the comments if you have started reading stuff that you never thought you'd read, or have been enjoying stuff that you didn't enjoy previously, because the world's on fire and upside down. In terms of other really quick life updates that have happened in the last 8 months, I'm still at the same job, and it's still wonderful and amazing, and it has been so hard to be away from my coworkers because I love my job, but really it's just family, and I miss them a lot. This scene behind me probably looks similar, but is not the same as the last couple of places that I filmed from, because back last August I moved. I was commuting about 45 to 60 minutes to and from my new job, and that was not working. So I moved to a place a little bit closer. I also moved in with my boyfriend, who despite having lived with me since last August, has yet to break up with me, which is wild. I thought quarantine was going to be a little bit more difficult, but it turns out that when you have two serious introverts in a relationship, you're mostly just kind of hanging out and then really sad about how much faster dishes accumulate when you're here more often. So that's been cool. Only other major life event outside of that was that in the middle of December, my grandmother died, and she was my last living grandparent and also the grandparent that I was closest to. And I took that really, really hard. I take that really, really hard. She's 95, so she had been around for a good long while and seen a good long thing, and I got to say goodbye to her last October. I got that time and that space, which was really great, and so did my family. So, you know, we knew it was coming. Her cancer had come back. And her doctor was like, all right, so chemo? And she's like, I'm 95. Don't be dumb. So she, you know, it wasn't sudden. She was ready, but it literally just said that and almost started to cry. So it's been a really, really topsy-turvy time. Michaela and I have all these discussions about, you know, wanting to get started back up with videos and do that kind of thing. I know realistically that I can't do that until after this semester is done, because I just honestly put too much on my plate, and especially with everything that's going on right now, I functionally can't. Yeah, I was inspired to do this video because Michaela posted a video, and I remembered how much this community meant to me and how much I missed doing this, and I had my camera out because I was doing videos for my library. And then Josh from Literary Gladiators, which is a fantastic YouTube channel that you should absolutely be subscribed to. They also, you know, publish content, which we don't do, so that's just reason enough. But Josh had posted this really long and fabulous comment, and it just, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, you're having a rough day and then your heart is just singing because you remember that there are these fantastic people that are out there in the world, and I'm missing out on something that I really do love to do. So Michaela and I have plans, but I'm trying to be realistic and not trying to do what I think we've done the last couple of times, which is say, no, we can definitely do this, and then it falls apart because I wasn't being realistic about my scheduling. So my final paper is due on May 5th, and after that, Dobby is a free elf and has been released from grad school. I'll have 2 master's degrees. I will have absolutely no job market because pandemic. But, you know, we'll carry on, and hopefully there'll be more videos, because in these kinds of times we need to get joy wherever we can get it, and this is definitely one of those places. So thank you for letting me ramble. Sorry if it's crazy, and at the very least you can look forward to some writing videos that I plan to post mentioning my place of work, so that in case you're interested in sharing some writing exercises with me, you can do that. So here's to being realistic and finding joy where we can and trying to sleep. It's good to see you guys. Bye.